Okay, so have you ever felt just completely swamped, like buried under information?
Oh, yeah. Or facing something really tough, and
Yeah.
feeling totally alone in it.
Exactly. And you just wish someone could cut through all the noise, right?
Yeah.
Just hand you the important bits.
We all want that clarity,
Uh-huh.
especially when it's something personal, something about well-being.
Yep.
You need to grasp it quickly, get those aha moments.
Right. Find the connections, feel like you actually get it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for this deep dive, we're tackling a topic like that. It affects millions of young people, but it's often really misunderstood. Obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD.
And our main guide here is the OCD Workbook for Teens by Jon Hershfield. Great illustrations, too, by Sean Shinnock.
It's a fantastic resource. So our mission today is to really unpack it.
Yeah, distill it down. We want to give you a clear picture of what OCD actually is, how it works.
And maybe most importantly, the practical tools from the book, evidence-based stuff.
Think of it like a shortcut, maybe. Mastering insights that could genuinely change your life or, help you understand someone you care about a whole lot better.
And this workbook, it's pretty special. You see it called a must-read all the time.
By top child therapists, program directors,
Yeah.
folks from places like McLean Hospital, Harvard Medical School. They really rate it.
What I find fascinating is how the author, Jon Hershfield, he blends his clinical expertise with like a really personal voice.
He does. He even shares his own experiences with OCD as a teen. Makes it so relatable, authentic.
Totally. It's not just some dry textbook.
Not at all. People say it's clever, it's funny even. And those illustrations by Sean Shinnock, who also battled OCD himself, they're just killer.
That collaboration, author and illustrator who've both been there, that makes it really unique, sets it apart.
And it delivers on the practical side, too. Solid strategies you could apply immediately. That's what people say.
We're talking things like ERP exposure and response prevention.
CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. Mindfulness.
Yeah.
Real evidence-based tools.
Yeah. It's really designed to empower teens, to kind of start their own quest to fight OCD. Okay, let's dive right in. Something important first. We've all heard people say it, right? Casually, like, oh, I'm so OCD about my desk.
Mm-hmm. Happens all the time.
How does the book tackle that misuse?
It hits it head on. Basically says, look, when people say that, they often don't know what they're talking about.
Which is crucial because
True OCD isn't just liking things neat. It's not a personality quirk. It's a real psychiatric condition. Affects millions.
that distinction is so important. Why do you think it's so hard, especially for teens maybe, to separate that casual phrase from the actual disorder?
Well, the casual use kind of muddies the waters, doesn't it? It makes it harder for people who are really struggling to feel understood.
Yeah. So if it's not just being organized, what are the clinical signs? What does the book say defines real OCD?
It breaks it down into three core parts. OCD, first is obsessions. These are the unwanted thoughts, images, urges. They just barge into your head. Intrusive, relentless, can be really upsetting.
And then to cope with those, the brain tries to do something, right? That leads to the C.
Exactly. Compulsions. These are the behaviors, physical things you do, or mental things you do in your head.
Okay.
And you do them specifically to try and reduce the distress from the obsessions or to get some kind of certainty about them. It's like your brain trying to fix it.
Makes sense. So you have the obsessions, the compulsions, and the D.
The disorder. That's when the obsessions and compulsions start seriously messing with your life.
You're getting in the way.
Yeah, making it hard to handle school, friends, relationships, just getting through the day when the coping itself causes major problems. That's the disorder part.
The book uses Mike's story, right, to illustrate this.
Yes, it's a really clear example. Mike got obsessed with checking things. It started small, like worrying if the coffee machine was off.
Just a fleeting thought.
At first. But it spiraled into these vivid images of his house burning down. His mom told him it turned off automatically, but the images kept coming back.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, right? The next morning.
He was desperate. He started this whole ritual, walking through the house, touching light switches, the coffee machine, saying out loud, "This is done, I see it's done."
Trying to get that certainty.
Exactly.
All right.
But then, a new thought. What if a light bulb shorted out? So he adds turning lights off, on again, just to be sure.
Wow.
Then it shifted. Burglars. Imagining his parents yelling, his cat lost. Pretty soon, just locking the doors took 15 minutes.
15 minutes just for the door.
Locking, unlocking, relocking, taking pictures of the locks, saying specific things. It snowballed.
And that's when it became the disorder.
Absolutely. He couldn't focus at school. His mind was just full of these what-if disaster scenarios.
Like that quote, "Who cares about the American Revolution if my house is burning down?"
Exactly that. He started missing the bus, making excuses, grades dropped, sleep went out the window because he was planning nighttime checking rituals.
You can really see the OCD there, the intrusive fire thoughts obsessions.
Right.
The checking, the rituals, compulsions, and the impact on school, sleep, just functioning. That's the disorder. Clear as day.
So if you're listening, maybe relating to Mike's story, you might wonder, why me? Why do I have this?
Yeah.
The book explains OCD as biopsychosocial, which sounds complicated, but
Break it down for us.
biological roots.
Yeah.
It often runs in families. Genetics seem to play a part.
Psych.
Psychological. How you relate to those unwanted thoughts when they pop up.
And social, especially for teens.
Right. The environment, your experiences. And for teens, this is huge. Your brain and body are changing massively.
And you're suddenly dealing with all these complex new ideas, right? Things that weren't really on your radar as a kid.
Totally. Sex, romance, religion, violence, big, weighty topics. The book kind of jokes, you go from the tooth fairy to, well, much more complex stuff about sexuality and relationships.
And that flood of new, sometimes overwhelming information that can be a trigger for some.
It can be. Take Sarah's story in the book. After a health class, she started getting bombarded with unwanted sexual thoughts, images.
Just out of the blue.
Yeah, they'd stick in her head all day, looking at a friend, a teacher. Disturbing images would pop up. She started worrying, like, does this mean I'm bad? Do I secretly want to do these things?
And she tried to fight them.
Instinctively, yeah. Tried replacing the bad thoughts with good ones.
Yeah.
A mental compulsion.
Did it work?
Only for maybe a minute. And often, trying to suppress them just made them stronger, more intrusive.
Ugh. That sounds exhausting.
It really highlights how your brain is just processing so much new stuff during those years.
So what's the key takeaway here for someone listening who might be struggling?
The book is so clear on this. Having OCD is not your fault. Absolutely not.
It's not a character flaw.
No. And being a teen, with all those brain changes, body changes, new social complexities, it can make the symptoms feel even more intense. But the diagnosis, it's a map, the book says. Not a defect. You haven't done anything wrong.
Okay, let's dig into those thoughts themselves, those intrusive ones. The book calls them uninvited guests, right? Or like internet spammers.
Yeah, they just show up, unannounced.
And here's the wild part. Everyone has them. Like, weird, random thoughts popping into your head is totally normal human stuff.
That is the crucial difference with OCD. Everyone gets intrusive thoughts. But if you have OCD, you're more likely to see them as really problematic, maybe even dangerous.
And feel responsible for them, like you have to do something about them.
Exactly. Feel responsible to act on them, neutralize them somehow.
The book lists some common themes OCD latches onto, doesn't it? Areas of uncertainty.
Oh, yeah. Germs, contamination, fears of harming someone, violent thoughts.
Yeah.
Making terrible mistakes.
Moral stuff, like your intentions, sexual attractions, doubts about relationships.
Responsibilities, health worries, religious or philosophical concerns, fears about your sanity, even just feeling uncomfortable or where your attention is focused. It's a wide net.
It really is. But there's that cool analogy, too, about the deluxe cable package in your head.
Right. It might give you some channels you really wish you didn't have. But the very same mind, creating those unwanted thoughts, is also often incredibly creative, capable of deep insights, unique ways of seeing the world.
So true. It's like part of being a big thinker means your brain is super creative, sometimes in ways you don't want.
But that creativity, when you learn to manage the OCD, can actually be a huge strength. It can make you stand out in a good way.
Okay, so that's the thoughts. What about the compulsions, the actions?
Remember, a compulsion is a behavior. Could be physical, could be mental. And you do it to get relief from the distress the obsession causes, or to get certainty.
It's like sending a signal to your brain.
Precisely. A signal that often backfires.
The book puts it simply. OCD wants you to do the compulsion. But your goal is to ditch the compulsion. Choose uncertainty instead.
That's how you starve the OCD out. That's the path.
And compulsions can look like so many different things.
Oh, absolutely. Physical stuff like washing, cleaning.
Mental stuff like analyzing thoughts over and over.
Yep. Avoiding things that trigger you. Repetitive actions like checking. Private rituals like counting in your head.
Or even involving other people.
Yeah.
Like constantly asking for reassurance.
That's a big one. Reassurance-seeking. The book suggests tracking this stuff, your triggers, your responses, in a log.
Why is that helpful?
It makes it really clear what signals your compulsions are sending to your brain. And the signal is usually, this is dangerous, be afraid.
So the compulsions actually make the OCD stronger.
Exactly. They teach the brain to stay afraid. That's the core message. Compulsions strengthen the OCD by teaching the brain to be afraid.
Which brings us to something really sneaky, mental rituals, where just thinking becomes the compulsion.
Yeah, these are the hidden ones, the trolls, the book calls them.
Yeah.
Invisible to others, often.
And historically, some approaches got this wrong, right? Encouraging mental games.
Big mistake. Trying to replace thoughts, argue logically with the fear. We now know those don't work. In fact, they make it worse.
Why? Because they're still compulsions.
Exactly. They send the same wrong signal. This thought is a threat. I must fix it. It just feeds the cycle.
Jordan's story in the book really drives this home.
It does. He was babysitting his sister, cutting a hot dog,
And suddenly sees the knife.
and gets this horrific, vivid image of stabbing her. Just flashes in his mind.
Terrifying.
Instantly followed by this barrage of questions. Why did I think that? Would I ever do that? Is it safe for me to be near her? Impossible questions.
And he tried to answer them, replay it, distract himself.
All of it. Tried answering, replaying the scene, repeating comforting phrases, even math problems for distraction. Nothing worked.
Because those were all mental rituals, feeding the loop.
Precisely. The thoughts often got worse. He was trapped.
The book names some common mental rituals people get stuck in.
Yeah, like ruminating. Just replaying thoughts, analyzing them endlessly, like puking up your thoughts to digest them again, as the book puts it.
Vivid image. What else?
Mental checking. Going back to see if a thought is still there or if it's gone. Thought neutralizing, trying to swap a bad thought for a good one.
Rationalizing, going over all the logical reasons not to worry.
And self-reassurance, constantly telling yourself, it's okay, that won't happen.
You see the pattern, right? They're all active mental behaviors, things you do to get relief.
And they all strengthen the OCD in the long run.
Okay, so if just thinking can be a compulsion, how do you stop it? It feels impossible.
It's tough, no doubt. But the technique is label and abandon.
Label and abandon. Step 1.
Learn to recognize and label the mental ritual as it's happening. Give it a name. Ah, that's ruminating, or oops, mental checking.
Okay. Step 2. This is the hard part.
Immediately jump out of that thought process.
Yeah.
Just drop it.
Yeah.
And bring your attention back to whatever you were actually doing before you got sidetracked.
So you don't engage, you just redirect.
Exactly. It takes practice, loads of it.
That's
But it
right.
helps you learn the difference between thinking, which is an activity, a behavior you can choose not to do, and just having thoughts, which is an experience that happens.
Like catching yourself automatically reaching for the soap and just pulling your hand back.
That's a great analogy. Thinking is an activity,
Mm.
like washing, and we can catch and abandon it.
All right, let's shift gears. Talk about a tool that maybe sounds, well, a bit boring. Mindfulness.
Yeah. Yeah, it can have that reputation, but the book really challenges that. It's not just sitting quietly.
So what is it, really?
At its core, mindfulness is about remembering the truth.
The truth.
Yeah, realizing that a story like the scary narrative OCD skins isn't the same as reality. It's about being aware of your senses, aware of your thoughts, just observing them without getting swept away.
The problem is we spend so much time not being aware, right? Lost in thought on autopilot, always looking for the next distraction.
We really do. We avoid boredom like the plague. Our minds are always racing somewhere else.
So how do you practice it? The book talks about an anchor.
Right. Find a quiet spot if you can. Start by just noticing body sensations,
Yeah.
then sounds around you. Then, gently bring your focus to your breath.
And the breath is the anchor.
Exactly. It's the thing you keep returning your attention to whenever your mind inevitably wanders off into thoughts or stories.
Which you gill a lot.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And that's okay. The practice isn't about stopping thoughts. It's about noticing they've wandered and gently bringing focus back. Over and over.
And doing that teaches you.
It helps you distinguish between what is a story, like all the stuff your OCD thoughts are yelling at you, and what is not a story, like the simple reality of you sitting here breathing.
So it's not about achieving perfect Zen calm. It's about the redirecting, the noticing and returning.
That's the muscle you're building.
Which sounds like something you could do anytime, anywhere, not just formal meditation. The book suggests making your own meditation games.
Yeah. It's about practicing focused attention in everyday moments, like the analogy of hearing just the bass guitar in a song,
Mm.
Isolating one part of the experience.
So pick an object, like an apple.
Sure. Focus just on its color, then maybe where it came from, what it might become, how it smells, feels. Pick one detail. When your mind wanders, bring it back to that detail.
Building that attention muscle.
Exactly. It gives you an advantage over your OCD because you learn you can choose where to place your attention. It really is mostly just catching your mind wandering and choosing where to focus.
Now, connecting this, the way we think can actually feed the OCD loop, right? These cognitive distortions.
Absolutely. Unhelpful thinking styles that strengthen OCD. Becoming aware of them is the first step to challenging them.
Like with Dave's contamination OCD in the book.
Right. His fear of toilet hands, germs from school. He had this whole intense ritual. Stripping at his bedroom door, showering.
Because he believed if anything dirty touched his room, the whole place was contaminated forever.
Yeah, he can never feel clean enough to sleep there again. Even just thinking about dirt could make his bed feel contaminated, triggering sheet-changing compulsions. He was totally trapped.
By those thinking styles, what are some common ones the book mentions?
All or nothing thinking. Things are either totally perfect or a complete disaster. Black or white.
Catastrophizing. Assuming the absolute worst will happen and you won't be able to handle it.
Overestimating responsibility. Thinking everything bad that happens or could happen is somehow your fault.
Magical thinking. Believing your thoughts can directly cause external events.
Emotional reasoning. If it feels true, it must be true. I feel anxious, so there must be danger.
And should thinking. Having rigid, inflexible rules about how you or the world must operate.
See the common thread. They all involve jumping to conclusions, making assumptions about things you can't actually know for sure. Uncertainty is the enemy.
So the book suggests using a thought-challenging log. How does that work without just arguing with the OCD?
It's clever. You don't argue with the content of the thought, like, are my hands really dirty? Instead, you challenge the style of thinking.
Ah. Okay.
If you touch something and think, oh no, it might be contaminated, I'll get sick and die if I don't wash, you'd note the trigger, the thought.
And
Then you challenge the style. Okay, I don't know if my hands are dirty. That feels like all or nothing thinking and definitely catastrophizing. I'm choosing to leave it, tolerate the uncertainty, and stand up to the OCD.
So you reframe it, you identify the distortion and choose a different path.
Exactly. It helps you resist the compulsion. Recognizing these unhelpful thinking styles is a really useful tool for that resistance. Gives you a handle on what your brain is doing.
Okay, the book paints OCD as this bully, right? Always trying to get you on the defensive.
Constantly poking you, trying to get a reaction.
And the trick, the ultimate power move, is to never play defense.
Never. That's the core principle.
So how? How do you respond without defending? The book gives 4 ways.
4 great non-defensive approaches. First, you can just ignore it.
Literally pretend it's not there. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yep. Don't give it the time of day. Second, you can acknowledge it, but don't respond.
Mindful approach. Like, okay, OCD thought, I see you there.
And now I'm turning my attention back to my homework. Exactly.
Yeah.
Note it, then redirect.
The third. This one sounds kind of bold.
Agree that it might be right. You don't really care.
Seriously. Like, yep, could be. Or the book's phrase, cool story, bruh.
Huh. Yeah, it completely disarms the obsession.
Yeah.
Takes away its power to shock you or demand that you fix it. You just shrug it off.
Okay. And the 4th way, even bolder.
Agree completely and make things uncomfortable for the bully. You basically take the OCD's fear, say, oh yeah, totally true, and then exaggerate it, make it even worse or more absurd.
Like, yes, I might have left the stove on and the house will probably explode into rainbow confetti.
Something like that. You out-bully the bully with absurdity.
Love it. So the bottom line is?
There's no single perfect way to respond, except never play defense. That's the only rule that matters.
Okay, let's unpack the big one. The treatment everyone talks about for OCD, ERP.
Exposure and response prevention.
Though the book has that fun acronym too, right? Electronic rap bunk.
Huh, yeah. Like be creative, think fast, be subversive, dance to your own beat. It's a fun way to frame it.
But clinically, it's exposure and response prevention. What's the core idea?
That sounds simple, but it's profound. Exposure means you deliberately, purposefully do things that trigger the urge to do your compulsions.
You lean into the discomfort.
Exactly. And response prevention means, well, you don't do the compulsion, you resist that urge.
Even though it's screaming at you.
Even though it's screaming. The goal is to teach your brain through direct experience that you can handle the distress, you can handle the uncertainty without needing the ritual. You break the cycle.
The book really tackles some myths about ERP too, doesn't it? Because it can sound kind of scary.
It does. First, it's not torture. Yes, it's uncomfortable, can hurt emotionally. But the purpose isn't pain. It's winning back what OCD took from you, bulking up those mental muscles.
It's also not demeaning.
No. You're choosing to do these hard things. You're in control, taking brave steps. It's empowering, not demoralizing.
And it's not about testing if the fear comes true.
Definitely not. That's what compulsions try to do, get certainty. ERP is about learning to tolerate the uncertainty and the feelings that come with it, regardless of the outcome.
And crucially, it's not dangerous.
Right. It's about building confidence, facing fear safely. Not about, actually dying or causing harm. It's about feeling like you won't die from the anxiety.
So there are different kinds of ERP, like real-life stuff.
Yep, in vivo ERP, that's exposure in the real world. You typically build a hierarchy, like a ladder. Start with something mildly triggering, work your way up to harder stuff.
Give me an example.
Okay, if you have contamination fears, maybe you start by touching a doorknob and waiting 5 minutes before washing, then 10 minutes. Then touching something dirtier, waiting longer, or not washing at all. Or if you have harm thoughts, maybe going to the knife section in a store and just standing there, resisting urges to check or reassure yourself.
It's about that willingness to feel the anxiety without doing the compulsion.
That's the key word, willingness.
What about fears you can't really confront in real life, like really abstract or catastrophic feels?
That's where imaginal ERP or scripting comes in. For obsessions that go way beyond anything we can directly confront here on Earth, as the book says.
How does that work? Writing it down.
Exactly. The book calls OCD a horror novelist in your head, always pitching scary stories. Scripting is like taking that story, writing it out in detail, becoming the observer.
Seeing the full monster.
Yeah. You write down the fear, the worst outcome, how it affects you, others, the next bad thing, the ultimate consequence, and crucially, how you cope with it, even if that's awful. You basically write the horror movie script that OCD is playing in your head.
Wow. So you lean into the scary story on paper. How does that possibly help? It sounds terrifying.
It is confronting, no doubt, but by writing it, recording it, listening to it, you're facing the fear in a controlled way. You're not avoiding it, you're processing it. It takes away the shock value.
It loses its power.
Over time, yes. You're essentially using your own creativity, the same creativity OCD hijacks, to outsmart it, go bigger, bolder, even sicker than the OCD story. You become the author, not the victim. It's about habituation getting used to the feared thought or image, so it causes less distress. Imaginal exposures are really ways to use your creative writing skills to outwit the OCD.
Okay, one more type. Interoceptive ERP. Exposing yourself to body sensations.
Exactly. Defying OCD with your body. Sometimes the trigger isn't an external thing. It's an internal, feeling heart racing, feeling dizzy, short of breath, hot.
Like Ricardo in the book, his fear of blooting things out.
Right. He feared losing control if he felt off physically, so he'd constantly monitor himself, breathe slowly, cool down, cling to things. All compulsions to avoid feeling dysregulated.
So interoceptive ERP for him would be?
Purposely inducing those sensations.
Yeah.
Jogging in place to get breathless, wearing extra layers to feel warm, spinning in a chair to get dizzy. The goal is to bring on those uncomfortable feelings and just sit with them. Learn that they're just sensations. They're uncomfortable maybe, but not dangerous. They don't automatically lead to the feared catastrophe.
You're teaching your brain that the physical feeling itself isn't the threat?
Exactly. You get better at just having those uncomfortable feelings that come with OCD. It's powerful stuff.
Okay, switching gears again. The book talks about brutal, savage, ruthless self-compassion, which sounds intense.
It does. It comes partly from the author's own therapist saying, provocatively, OCD has been good to you.
Whoa, how can OCD be good for anyone?
It's not about liking the OCD. It's about the potential to transform that suffering, to grow from it, maybe even use your experience to help others understand. It's about finding meaning despite the struggle.
And self-compassion fits in how?
It's defined as observing your suffering and relating to it like you would a friend's suffering, with kindness, understanding.
Because self-criticism is often part of the OCD cycle.
Definitely. The book points out self-criticism can be a compulsion itself, a way to try and even the score when OCD makes you feel guilty or bad. So, being kind to yourself, that's actually a really badass exposure, as the book says. It defies the OCD's narrative.
So how do we practice it?
Be honest about what you're feeling. Okay, I'm thinking I messed up with my friend, feeling really guilty. Then normalize it. Lots of people feel this way sometimes.
And acknowledge the effort.
Yeah. Recognize what you are doing right, even if it's hard. Wow, I'm resisting that compulsion even though it feels awful. That's pretty strong,
Hmm.
the book asks. If someone you cared about was going through this, would you yell at them or offer support?
You'd offer support, obviously.
So try offering that same support to yourself. It sounds simple, but being kind to yourself is actually a super effective exposure.
Let's talk about uncertainty. The book says we're always taught to know things.
Right, from day one, learn this, master that, get the right answer.
But nobody ever invites us not to know, and that's key for OCD.
Absolutely critical. OCD hates uncertainty. It thrives on your intolerance of it. So, learning to be awesome at not knowing, that's a superpower.
A superpower against OCD, how does that work?
Well, the book makes some great points. First, accepting uncertainty isn't all or nothing. Even admitting a tiny 1 in a trillion chance your fear could be true, that is accepting uncertainty.
If you demand 100% certainty.
That's just the OCD talking. That's an obsession. Also, you accept uncertainty all the time without thinking about it.
Like eating food without knowing every single ingredient. Or getting on a bus.
Exactly. Or not knowing if a bird will poop on you. And confidence isn't about certainty. Being a confident driver doesn't mean you're 100% sure your tire won't explode. It means you accept the risks and drive anyway.
So how do you practice being awesome at not knowing? Make it a game.
Yeah. The book suggests exposure-based games. Look up a word, but don't read the definition. Listen to something fast, don't rewind. Watch a foreign movie without subtitles.
Purposefully create that feeling of not knowing.
And get comfortable with it. Practice tolerating it. Uncertainty acceptance really is a superpower.
Okay, next topic. Reassurance. Asking others, am I okay? Did I do that wrong? Or constantly checking Dr. Google.
Feels like it helps in the moment, right? That little hit of relief.
But the book says it actually makes you less confident. How?
It's paradoxical. Constantly seeking reassurance trains your brain to doubt. It sends the signal, hey, I must really not be sure about this because I keep needing someone else to tell me I'm okay. It reinforces the uncertainty.
Like Emily's story, obsessed with being a good and decent person.
Right. Spending hours reading, analyzing interactions, constantly asking her poor mom for reassurance. Was that insensitive? Am I a bad person if?
And our mom tried to help reassure her.
Tried her best, told her she was kind, she was good. But Emily felt less sure, more anxious, because the reassurance was temporary and it just fed the loop. Her brain learned it needed that external check-in.
So the brain needs you to stop sending that signal. Stop asking.
Exactly. That temporary relief is a trap. You need to break that cycle. Reassurance might look like it helps, but it actually keeps you chained to the obsessions.
Which means involving the people you usually ask for reassurance. Your parents, maybe?
Crucial step. You need to educate your main reassurance providers. Help them understand how to stop giving reassurance in a supportive way.
The book suggests a new contract.
Yeah, a template for a conversation where you, the teen, basically give them permission not to answer those reassurance-seeking questions.
And they offer different responses instead.
Right. Supportive but non-reassuring things like, that sounds like one of those OCD questions you asked me not to answer. Or, wow, you're fighting hard right now, I'm proud of you. It shifts the dynamic. Helps the whole family support recovery, not the OCD.
That leads perfectly into the next point. Dear parents, if I have to do ERP, then we all do.
Huh. Yeah, it's a call for teamwork because parents, totally unknowingly, often accommodate the OCD.
Accommodate, meaning they change their behavior to reduce the teen's distress.
Exactly. Buying tons of soap, helping avoid triggers, having long talks about the obsessions, waiting patiently while rituals happen, doing chores the teen avoids, checking locks for them.
All done out of love and wanting to help.
Of course.
Yeah.
But it makes the OCD comfortable. It protects the OCD, allows it to keep running the show. The whole family gets stuck.
So for the teen to get better, the accommodations need to change too.
It has to be a team effort.
Oh.
The book suggests a collaborative conversation. Talk to your parents about gradually reducing accommodations. Start small. Make the home environment less OCD-friendly and more recovery-friendly.
Working together, that's key. It's a smart team approach.
Definitely.
Okay, let's talk self-care. The book really emphasizes this. You are worth the effort.
So important, because fighting OCD is hard work. It's bumpy, scary, and full of challenges, as the book says. You need to recharge your batteries.
Like the airplane oxygen mask. Put yours on first.
Exactly that analogy. You need to care for yourself so you have the strengths for the fight and eventually to help others too.
The book has those 8 8s for self-care. What are they?
Okay, first, activate. Exercise. It boosts mood, yes, but also reminds your body it can handle anxiety sensations like a racing heart, kind of like mini interoceptive exposure.
Meditate. We talked about mindfulness, learning to observe thoughts, mental hygiene.
Medicate. If you and a doctor decide medication is right, take it consistently as prescribed. Talk to your prescriber.
Curate. Create a pleasant, supportive environment. Sunlight, nature, music, inspiring stuff, art, whatever nourishes you.
Initiate. Build real social connections. Don't isolate yourself, reach out. Don't suffer alone.
Create. Make things. Art, music, writing. It's fulfilling and can even be an exposure if you struggle with perfectionism, letting go of things needing to be just right.
Delegate. Ask for help when you need it. You don't have to do everything. Reduces that burden of over-responsibility. Frees up energy.
And lastly,
Relate. Practice kindness towards others. It builds compassion, both for them and, importantly, for yourself.
the book suggests making your own daily self-care cheat sheet.
Yeah, a little reminder of these things. Because paying attention to self-care really is a crucial part of taking power away from OCD.
Finally, let's touch on stigma, fighting it inside and out.
So important. The author notes many adults with OCD had symptoms as teens, but waited years for help. Why? Stigma. Those false, messed up beliefs people have about mental health.
But there's a positive trend now, teens taking ownership.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
More teens are getting involved in advocacy, speaking out, sharing stories online, running support groups, turning something that felt like shame into a compassion project. It's really empowering.
But there's also self-stigma, believing the negative stuff yourself.
Yeah, the book calls it the pits. When you internalize those messed up beliefs, thinking you are flawed because you have a mental health condition, that stops you from getting help, from being kind to yourself.
The fighting external stigma helps internally, too.
Exactly. A world with less stigma around mental health is a world where you treat yourself better too. It's all connected.
Okay, we've covered so much ground, all these amazing tools and insights from the workbook. So what does it all boil down to? How do you put it all together?
The really empowering message is that once you grasp these core ideas, you can actually design your own plan to tackle any obsession, no matter how weird or unique your OCD feels.
You have the building blocks.
You do. The book maps it out with 5 core concepts we've basically touched on. A roadmap.
Okay, quick review. Number 1.
My diagnosis, or O to the C to the D. Really understanding your specific cycle. Obsessions, compulsions, how they cause disorder in your life.
2.
Mindfulness.
Yeah.
Or, hey, look at that, a thought. Seeing thoughts, feeling sensations as just experiences passing through. Observing, not reacting as if they're instant threats.
3.
Thinking about your experiences. Recognizing those cognitive distortions, those unhelpful thinking styles, and learning to challenge the style, not the content.
4 is self-compassion.
Self-compassion and self-care. Treating yourself kindly, prioritizing your well-being. Remembering self-hatred is just an OCD trick.
Then the big one, 5.
ERP. Or you can beat any obsession by strengthening your not knowing skills. That's the action part. Practicing being uncertain. Facing fears through exposure. Resisting compulsions. Teaching your brain a new way.
And the book helps you make a personalized plan using these.
Yeah, it suggests creating your own self-treatment plan worksheet, applying these 5 concepts to whatever your OCD throws at you.
It gives examples too, right, for common themes?
Quick examples, yeah. Like for contamination OCD, ERP involves touching things, resisting washing, breaking those rigid cleaning rules,
Sexual obsessions.
avoiding reassurance, maybe listening to triggering music or shows to habituate, scripting the fears.
Violent thoughts.
ERP could be stopping avoidance of objects like knives, maybe watching certain movie scenes, definitely scripting, and working hard to abandon those mental checking rituals.
What about religious or moral scrupulosity?
Scripting about breaking rules, cutting out checking or reassurance, maybe deliberately bending minor rules that feel too rigid, making the thoughts funny, or even worse, to disarm them.
Relationship OCD, doubts about partners.
Scripting those fears, like, what if this isn't the right person? Agreeing with the thoughts, yep, maybe they aren't. But acting opposite to the doubt. Resisting reassurance. Maybe adjusting contact if checking in has become compulsive.
And those tricky just right or sensoromotor obsessions, things feeling off.
ERP there involves practicing doing things the wrong way. Agreeing with thoughts like, I'll be stuck feeling this way forever. using random reminders to interrupt rituals, scripting the feared consequences of never getting it just right.
The message seems to be even if your specific fear isn't listed.
It doesn't matter. It's not weird. Your big imagination, the book says, is actually an asset here. You can use these tools. You're better at this OCD fighting stuff than you think.
That's really hopeful. Any kind of OCD can be tackled if you bring the right tools together.
That's the core belief.
Yeah.
Hashtag tag tag outro.
Well, this has been a really rich deep dive into the OCD workbook for teens. It's not magic, obviously, not an instant cure.
No, it's work. But it provides such powerful tools, such clarity, a real path to mastery.
What's the author's final takeaway? Any parting advice?
Yeah, something really profound. Self-hatred is a fraud perpetrated on you by the OCD.
Wow.
He warns against letting philosophical errors like cynicism, pessimism, thinking your current awful feelings will last forever, define you. Those are just thoughts, feelings. They pass. They aren't you.
And that message of connection. You're not alone in this.
Never. You've never had an unwanted thought that someone, somewhere, sometime hasn't also had. It feels isolating, but you're part of a huge, unseen community.
And you're never without a path forward.
Never without a path to mastery. Sometimes you just need that guide, that skillfully pointed flashlight, as the book puts it, to see the next step.
So as you go about your day, maybe just think about one small thing. One small, courageous step you could take today using something we talked about.
Maybe challenge one tiny compulsion, or embrace a little bit of uncertainty you usually avoid.
How might just that one act of defiance, that one small step, start to rewire things? Start to reclaim a little bit of your life, your joy, something to think about.